I wanted to talk about the end of the year. We're at December 31st. Tomorrow is 2025. And I want to talk about the most exciting product that came out in 2025 that I never ever got my hands on. And that is the Huawei tri-folding smartphone. It was one of my biggest videos that I do on this news show. And I wanted to talk about it's exciting and it's really the future of mobile phones, where they're gonna go. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what everybody's going to buy at that point when it does come out, but it is the future of where these phones are going. You have phones that are like this phone, like the Galaxy Z Fold and the Pixel Fold and the OnePlus Open and phones like that. And now you have the tri-folding phone from Huawei. Samsung's reportedly coming out with their own tri-folding phone. And if they do, other companies are gonna do that as well. And it's just a really interesting way to look at where the direction of smartphones will go. We've perfected the slab phone. We've somewhat perfected the folding phone. The next logical thing is to go tri-fold, and then eventually I think the glasses I think will be the major changing point at this time. I thought folding phones, everybody would have them when the price would drop. The price hasn't really dropped all that much, and they're still not even I don't even think they're in the top 10 of selling phones. It's always like slab phones. And I just don't see it. I thought they would get more popular. They just aren't. They're still my favorite devices. And then I can see tri-folding phones becoming even more interesting to me, especially as that technology gets better and changes and evolves and gets thinner and bigger and a bunch of different things that can go along with it. And the Huawei tri-folding phone came out, was released all in 2024. And 2025 will end up being even more so. You'll see more tri-folding phones, I would assume. CES, which is in a week or two, will have even more of these devices to show off. So it should be a really exciting time for tri-folding phones. And I really wanted to get my hands on it. I also didn't want to spend $5,000 or whatever people had to pay to get it imported here into the States. But it is a device that I have really interesting, hard-looking eyes on. And it's a phone that I want for a multitude of reasons. I always want my display to be as big as possible, mostly because it's easier for me to see, but it just feels more immersive. It's more fun. I mean, it's the same reason I picked up a Legion Go, which is a handheld gaming system, because that's the 8.8-inch display. I've had an ROG Ally, had a 7-inch display that seemed a little bit too small for me. This one seems, the size-wise, is perfect, and I'll do a video on it when I think about it in general. But this is one of those reasons. I want that huge display, but then if I want to fold it up, I can have a regular phone or a folding phone or basically a tablet. You get basically 3 devices in one. In the beginning of these folding phones, I was like, oh, it's like a small tablet, and it kind of is, but at the same time, it's kind of not, especially when you see these 10-inch tri-folding phones open up in front of you. It's pretty massive and impressive, and it's definitely the reason that it's the most interesting device of 2024. It's different looking, it's different in general. It's never been seen that you could actually purchase one of these, and it's just a device that really turns heads even more so than a folding phone. And that's why it's, again, my 2024 most impressive, most interesting device that came out that I never got my hands on, that I would still love to get my hands on. If I get to try this thing out at CES in a little over a week, I'm definitely going to try it, or a device like it, and I'll get some video on it. It has to do with the Samsung One UI Now bar, the One UI7 Now bar, where it allows you to interact with different apps on the lock screen or at the top of your screen on your home screen. And there's a new feature potentially being built in that's been leaked out, and that is Gemini. It looks like Gemini Live might be integrated into the Now bar as time goes on for this feature. Now, this is a pretty cool thing, the Now bar. It's reminiscent to what Apple has with their notch, where you can interact with things at the top. It's very handy. Samsung's is a little different, but still very interesting, and I love Gemini, and I hope they do integrate this, because I think it would be very, very helpful to have that at a quick access, basically at any time or almost any time. So I'm very, very down with this if they actually do this. I think it'd be a really cool feature. Now, speaking of One UI7, if you have it, some of the features of Good Lock work, some don't, and it has now been updated. The latest information coming out about Good Lock is the following, that regarding the One UI 7.0 Good Lock schedule, 15 Good Lock apps will be available in One UI 7 Beta, and 7 apps, you can see the 7 right there, are closely connected to the system and are always carefully updated, will be open from the end of December, starting with Multi-Star. However, Home Up and Lockstar, which have many new features and major structural changes, are undergoing internal testing thoroughly, so it may be a little late. We are doing our best to make it available at the same time as the official opening of One UI 7.0, so please support us. So I know a lot of people are totally integrated and really don't want to upgrade to things if Good Lock isn't updated, so they are slowly rolling out some of those updates that haven't been updated for Good Lock within One UI 7's beta. I know the one I'm really looking forward to is Home Up, as well as, I think it's just Home Up that I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, very good stuff. They're working on it. It should come soon. And that's pretty much it. I should have, I'm gonna start messing around with the Android 15 update on the OnePlus Open. I'm gonna do a video on that. And that's pretty much what I got going on right now. Thanks for watching. Your question of the day is, which is your favorite Good Lock module and why? Put it in the comments down below. Maybe you'll, what's the word? I can't even think of the word. I'm keep going, Maybe you'll influence, there you go, that's what I'm saying, influence somebody into using that on theirs because they didn't know about it. One UI 7 Beta seemingly might only come out to the Galaxy S24 series. So there might not be another beta for any other phone. Not to say One UI 7 won't eventually come out, but there might not be any betas released for any other phones beyond the S24. This tweet came out a while ago, and it has a little bit of traction going with it, and I don't even know this person, but reportedly what they're saying is that the S24 series One UI 7 Beta 3 will release between December 30th and January 6th, which is what we've kind of been expecting anyway. After Beta 3, there will be 2 to 3 more builds of Beta at max. 23, 22, 21 A series won't have any beta program. Stable layout, rollout schedule will be announced at Unpacked, which would be January 22nd. And that would most likely end up happening on the February 1st or 2nd week, first or 2nd week of February. Now, he doesn't mention, to be fair, the Z line, the Z Flip, or the Z Fold, which might still get one, might not. This is interesting because I haven't heard that this would happen. I've been talking and responding to you guys saying that I think it's gonna be, 1 or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, middle of January, whenever I've kind of guesstimated when we might end up seeing a beta rollout for the Z Fold especially. But if it doesn't end up happening, we're gonna definitely have to wait until February before anybody gets their hands on any kind of One UI 7 outside of the S24 series. But right now, again, it looks like it might only be the beta, which I guess when I think about it, it makes kind of sense that it wouldn't come to the 23, 22, 21 or A series. Like, they're not gonna have beta builds for that. They've had that in the past, but not having it now, because they're all very similar phones. But to not have it on a Z Flip or a Z Fold phone, that seems like not a smart thing to do, because they do have different form factors, as you know, but then they also have slightly different software. Very similar, probably 95% plus the same, but there is a little bit of a difference. So that it really takes to hold, like, what are they doing here? Is that gonna happen or not? But I will let you guys know if that happens, or we're not gonna get any more beta releases. But right now, don't plan on it beyond the S24 series. We're gonna start it off with a very interesting story having to do with AirDrop and AirPlay making their way to Android/Samsung phones. EU is requiring, or at least asking, Apple to open up AirPlay and AirDrop to other devices such as Android, so that if they want to file share, or AirPlay is when you push video onto like an Apple device, that you can, and Apple doesn't make it proprietary anymore. Now, we have Quick Share on Android, but having AirDrop would be pretty cool as well. We wouldn't have to go through alternative methods of having to share files locally with somebody right near us. If they wanted to, if they're on an iPhone, they could just AirDrop it to us, or quick share if they allowed that as well on Apple devices. I think it'd be pretty cool. I'd be down with it. The only thing I can see Apple probably doing is, if they do this, they're probably going to push, especially if they're required, and it would probably only be in the EU. I would guess they'd make it a little bit more difficult for Android folks. I would think they'd make you download some kind of app and have to do it that way, rather than just having it be integrated into the Android operating system. I think they're gonna end up being like, yeah, if you want this, you're gonna have to download the AirDrop app on Android, and it's not gonna be as convenient, it's not gonna be as helpful, and most people probably won't even end up doing it. So it'll allow them to get around or circumvent the EU law, but at the same time, make it more of a worse experience with Android. And Apple, you don't need the app, it's just built into the phone like Quick Share is. So that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be all roses and sunshine at the end of the day. I think it's going to be more aggravation and annoyance, like Apple likes to do. This is some good food for thought. As you know, Samsung's going to be releasing a bunch of foldable phones, and could we see a foldable tablet? Maybe. It looks like, this is obviously just conjuring up hopeful memories, maybe potentially about this. But next year, as you know, or this year, I should say 2025, Z Fold 7, Z Fold 7 Special Edition, or they'll probably call it Z Fold Special Edition 2 or something, Z Flip 7 are all basically, we're getting these things, or at least the Special Edition will probably be only for China and Korea again. But those three phones for sure, most likely, and then possibly a new Z Fold tablet. And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, do I actually want a foldable tablet? I'd try it, but do I want it? Do I need it? I don't know. I mean, it does make it more convenient to carry it around if you can make it pretty small, but I think I'd rather it be a phone, something like the Trifold phone, like put that out. I think a foldable tablet, again, I think it would be good in terms of being able to house it a little bit easier, but most of these tablets fit in backpacks already pretty comfortably. Even the small ones, how much smaller you're gonna get them, or the regular 10 or 11, 12-inch ones. Folding them in half would be great, but it's still kind of it's not big, but it's not gonna fit in your pocket. So, I mean, sure, it'd be kind of cool, interesting, but I don't know if it's a necessity. I think a phone where it could trifold and make it small enough to fit in your pocket would be much better. We have a great day of tech news. We're gonna start it off talking about the S25, 25 Plus, and 25 Ultra in Europe, and what you can expect in terms of the processor that will be inside. I think this is gonna make a lot of people happy. So this information coming out from Ishan Agarwal, who is saying that it seems like Samsung's Galaxy S25 series is indeed getting the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy in Europe as well. So that means all three devices could be Snapdragon powered in most regions. There will be an S24 in 512 gigabytes for 1079 euros. Other prices revealed were right. Standard color options, so the 25 Plus, you'll get it in silver, mint, which I love, that sounds great, icy blue, and navy. 25 Ultra, titanium black, titanium gray, titanium white silver, titanium silver blue. Give me something other than titanium, but titanium white silver sounds pretty dope. 12 gigabyte RAM as standard, all phones slightly more compact and lighter, but 25 Ultra is taller. So a couple of things to take from this. We kind of heard that the 25 series would be completely covered with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. So that's not a huge surprise, but what's pretty nice in there is that you'll be able to get seemingly the S25, the base version of the S25 in 512 gigabyte. Or he says S24. I wonder if that's a typo. Must be a typo, but that's cool. 512 gigabyte and that, and then but S25 Ultra is taller than the previous generation, which I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, I guess we're getting potentially a little bit more screen real estate, but maybe it'd be a little bit thinner. But then also what I want to talk about is that, with this phone, if the Snapdragon does come out, I think that's going to make everybody across the world happy. Exynos sometimes doesn't always get the best reviews due to potentially overheating or not performing as well as the Snapdragon series, and then beyond that you're looking at the colors, which the colors always are nicer or more fun, I should say, on the 25 Plus versus the Ultra series. But we're only, man, about less than probably, what is it, 3 weeks from now, basically, more or less, before this phone should be launched. Less than 3 weeks, actually. Less than 3 weeks, this phone will be having a launch party and pre-order, so get your credit cards ready, everybody. Huawei's Mate XT, or their tri-folding phone, is getting a successor. It's being worked on right now. And we don't even have anything from Samsung or anything yet coming out, but basically, reportedly, they're working on a new foldable phone, the Mate XT's 2, with a triple screen design in their new Kirin 9020 chip. And this should be out probably in the next 6 to 9, probably 6 months, probably like about 9 months from now, 10 months from now, when this phone should launch. And will we see a Samsung trifold? Will we see another company such as Google, or probably not OnePlus, or maybe, but somebody in that range coming out here in the Western market with a tri-folding phone? I think if anybody in the Western market comes out with a tri-folding phone, it's going to end up, or at least first, it will be Samsung. And then, because these phones can't come out in America due to Huawei and the US government having some issues. But this is the device I really wanted to try in hand. I didn't also want to pay, freaking $5,000 to import it, but it's just so intriguing. There's a lot of just difference in this in terms of the way it interacts and moves and how big it gets. It's just so different than a traditional folding phone. It has the same functionality, don't get me wrong. It's just the form factor is just so different. I would love to have played with this phone, and maybe I will. Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Flip 7, it started off, at least the rumors did, that there wasn't going to be a big change to the phone. And then we heard there was, and then we heard there's not. And then the last that we've heard is that there will be some major changes in terms of the way that it looks, with bigger displays on both phones. On the outside display of the Z Flip 7, and bigger displays on the inside and outside displays of the Z Fold 7. So the Z Fold 7 should look eerily similar to the Z Fold Special Edition that came out in Korea and China. And it really has taken a lot of that look, and the camera's supposed to be improved and all of that. But the more things change, the more they stay the same, the more they go back, and it's just flip-floppy. And I'll give you my opinion towards the end of this video, what I actually think is going to happen. But the latest bit of information is going back to what we originally thought and heard, and that is that the Flip 7 and Fold 7 are expected to have no significant hardware changes. This is per the Elec, which is a news outlet over in Korea. Now, we obviously heard from Ross Young, who's got a great track record, that the changes will be happening. Again, that was on December 2nd, where he said Fold 7 should have same display sizes as the Fold 6 Special Edition. So Fold 6 Special Edition will basically become the Fold 7. Flip 7 should grow from 6.7 to 6.85 inches on the main display, and the coverage display should be around 4 inches, which I think in the past was like 3.6 inches. So who do I believe? Do I believe the Elec, which is a Korean news outlet that does have a good track record, or do I believe Ross Young? Now, neither of them are 100%. Nobody's ever 100%. But, I personally believe that Ross Young is right. Now, he could be wrong. And a part of me is like, you know what? I wouldn't be that surprised, if at all, that we don't end up getting what we wanted: bigger displays, better cameras, all of that stuff. Like, part of me wouldn't be surprised. Maybe they want to keep the costs down. But then part of me would be surprised because of the fact we've been hearing from a couple of people that things will change and they will be bigger and better, and it'll just be the phone that we've kind of always wanted 7 years later. In terms of, not that the phone's been terrible or bad or anything, it's just, when we think about a folding phone that we want, we generally think like, hey, I want my phone to have the big displays on the inside and the out. I want the great cameras. I want the fast charging, all that stuff. So I don't think we're going to get something that we have already gotten with the 6 and the 5 and the 4 and the last bunch of generations of this one. I think this is going to be the year, finally, especially because rumors are kind of hot on this, that they will change. Now, again, Things can flip-flop back and forth. Things might flip-flop back and forth, but I will let you guys know for sure when I see information or hear anything. I will let you guys know. But right now, I wouldn't put too much weight in that things are going to stay the same in terms of how they've always been. I think things will change on the Flip 7 and Fold 7. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below and why you think that. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you down the road. Peace.